Like what I wanted to do with this album is it's electronic music, right? It's electronic music mixed with hip hop, and I call it West Side House.
Going off right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Hollywood North Files. And as for those of you who don't know, Hollywood North is Vancouver. And as of those who don't know, Zeko Deshoda has been studying music in Kelowna. He's been very near Hollywood North. He's been near the action. And he's always keeping things fresh, and he's always trying to keep many, what do they call it, irons in the fire. And as these 2 years have dragged on since the last time he released music, you know, I'm sure a lot of you are starting to wonder, what have you been doing? What have you been doing? And so that is the question to you, bro. During these last 2-year hiatus, what have you been up to? And I'm going to hold the mic like a real interviewer. I'm going to hold it. What have you been up to?
Man, mostly I've been up to, like, going to audio school was my biggest thing. I decided that I really needed that education to take myself to the next level. So I went to audio school in Kelowna, and I studied for about 1.5 years and graduated from a couple of programs, and it really upped my producing game and overall made me better. But I was in the midst of deciding if I wanted to stay in hip hop. That was probably the biggest thing. I saw that it was so, like, the industry is so saturated. There's white rappers everywhere, man, and we don't need this many white rappers. It just doesn't make sense. We got Eminem, Jack Harlow's dope. I'm good, you know. It's just we don't really need this many white rappers. So I just saw it was super saturated. There wasn't much room for me. I have my own unique style at the time, but I just decided that, like, man, if I wanted to be taken seriously, like, I need to do something unique. And that's when I started f***ing around with house music. And, like, for those of you that have been to Kelowna, Kelowna is massive on that scene. Like, that's all they listen to, tech house and just bumping in the club. And that's the party lifestyle there. So, yeah, I was busy deciding if I wanted to stay in hip-hop. And I decided that I wanted to do a house hip-hop blend. And that's what kind of inspired Palm Court. For those of you that know Nevik from my past stuff, my song Get Ya, good old summer bop, that is probably, like, one of the biggest inspirations of my new sound. That was, like, the first time I rapped over, like, an electronic house beat. And, like, dude, I couldn't get enough, especially when I performed it live, of seeing people, like, jumping and, like, dancing and grooving. Like, you can't always get that reaction with hip-hop, and, like, with house, you get that reaction every fucking time. So that was a really big reason why I took some time. I was redeveloping my sound and making sure that this next project is of the highest quality I can give you guys. This is miles ahead of Sleep Well, Sweet Dreams, miles ahead of Romance and Recovery. This is, like, easily my best work to date, and I have way more stuff in the vault waiting for you guys this summer.
And that's really saying something to compared to way beyond Sleep Well, Sweet Dreams, because for myself and probably a lot of you, there's some bangers on that album. And obviously he's hyping himself up here, and we love it. We can't wait to hear the album. But you were touching on a little bit of some of the difficulties of being in an oversaturated market. And obviously that's one of the biggest challenges that you face. But also I wanted you to maybe touch on some of the other things you've dealt with as an up-and-coming artist, and what's been some of the obstacles that you had to overcome recently.
I think all artists right now, especially if you're independent, the toughest thing that you're going to have to deal with is being your own everything. You don't have the money or the people or the connections or the resources at the start to really scale as fast as you want to. So that starts with you being your own manager, your own agent. You're negotiating your own shows. You are filming your own music videos, directing your own music videos, producing your own shit, writing your own shit. Lucky for me, I have a mixing engineer and a mastering engineer. So that's solid. I got 2 guys on the team. But yeah, being your own everything is exhausting. You're doing so much, and, like, I'm so excited for Palm Court to come out on Tuesday, man, because it's been a long time. It's taken me so long to get this album out. But I'll finally have it out, and even after that, the work is not done. Like, it's so far from over. but like I can't wait for the end of May. I'm gonna go get a massage and smoke a very fat joint, and that's kind of my plan to deal with some of this stress that's added in there.
Yeah, and you, by the tone in your voice, you're very serious about what you do. You know, you're talking about stress. And as a recording artist, I'm sure you're faced with scenarios all the time where your commitment to your art form clashes with your social life, right? And you have to make hard choices about where your priorities lie. So in order to gauge the type of personality you are as an artist, I had some scenarios put together for you, and I want to know what choices you would make. So picture this. Okay. Picture this. It's Friday night. All the homies are texting you. They're at the club. Big DJs in town. The night's about to go off. Meanwhile, you're at home. You're working on some serious sound design, or you're doing some vocal takes, or you're working on your marketing campaign. You're going hard. What are you going to decide? Are you going to bail on the homies and make it a serious night of production? Are you going to say, oh, the music can wait. Got the fear of missing out. I'm going to hit the downtown strip. What is your choice?
Both. You can do both of these things, man. If you are one of my homies, you know how to stay up late or even past being late into the early morning. Straight up, I would finish my takes. I'd finish what I was doing, and then I would bounce as fast as I can to the club because I hate to say it, man, but I love getting fucked up. I love it. It's a blast. I'm not a huge fan of getting drunk. I get stoned every day. It's good for me, but yeah, I would say do both. You can do both in that situation. And I think the biggest thing about like situations with your homies like that, man, is if you miss out on that, like you could go there and something might inspire you, or you might make a connection with the DJ. Like there's so many different routes you can make at the club. Like, dude, I've gotten so many gigs from talking to bartenders because bartenders never want to deal with you like pitching your shit to them. You're like, hey, I'm an artist from Calgary and I make hip hop. I was wondering if your manager's around. And they're like, fuck, another one of these guys. Yeah, okay, 1 second. And they pull them up, and then you end up meeting the manager and you get a gig, man. That's the beauty of that's what networking used to be. I have no idea what the future holds for us of like networking inside the clubs, but dude, you can do both. I think that's definitely the attitude. Music is something that's always going to be there for me, and if I take a break from it, that's not a bad thing. Giving your ears a break from some music you're making is a really solid way to gauge how it actually sounds. Because when you're listening to something way too much, you just start hate it, and that's just the reality of it. So you have to take some time away, and when you come back, you can listen to it more as a listener. It's way more subjective and more objective is the word I'm looking for, and I think that's the beauty of it. So yeah, maybe that's a longer answer than I needed, but yeah, that's what I would say.
He's gonna find a way to do both. He's gonna be there, one way or another. So. It's the night of the big show. Your set's coming up. All the homies came through for your set. And you know what? The set goes off. Your performance is on point. The night is feeling right. But you're exhausted. You've had a crazy long week preparing for this. You've basically fallen over. So now everyone wants the night to vamp up. Things are just getting going. The homies want to keep going. And you're backstage and you got faced with another choice. Do you invite the squad backstage? Or do you start to wind down and relax?
Definitely invite the squad backstage. If you're trying to get hyped up, man, if you have real friends, they will come hype you up. That is just straight up facts. I know my best friends really well. If I brought them backstage, they would be fucking stoked for me. And even if I was tired, they'd probably put me in a good mood. So definitely bring my homies back. Winding down before a show is not an option. That's something you do after the show. And most people find me in the smoke pit after a show. Like that's definitely where you're gonna find me. But yeah, just covered in sweat and huffing on a cigarette I stole off of someone or some shit like that. Or the dude that comes into the smoke pit's like, "Yo, dude, can I hit your vape? Can I hit your vape, man?" Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Post set, you can catch Zeko. He knows how to entertain guests. He's always ready to go, even past midnight, past 1 a.m. His mom taught him well. But we're gonna go to scenario number 3. We're starting to get a sense of the type of personality you have when it comes to performing and hosting shows. But now we're gonna get you into another scenario. So you're playing Coachella, right? But your set is Saturday morning at 11:30. And guess who's headlining on Friday night? Tame Impala. And their set, this is the problem. Their set doesn't end until 2:30 a.m. So now the set ends, you're like, all right. I'm kind of sleepy. What's the choice? Do you wind down, get some rest for your set so you're on point? Or do you live up every last hour of that Friday night?
Am I saying 11:30 the next day?
The following day? No, literally like...
Or the day of the
8,
Tame Impala important?
I'm talking about like 8 hours after the Tame Impala set ends is your set.
If you've been to a festival, you're probably well aware of the drugs that are around there. I don't think, honestly, if to see Tame Impala live, I would kill someone. I'd be that asshole that'd be pushing to the front, and people be like, "Oh, stop pushing on me!" And I'd be like, "Get the fuck out of my way, dude! I love this band too much." Yeah, I would 100%. You know what? I would stay up till 2:30, and then I would get some rest. That's enough time to catch a couple, 5 hours of sleep or something like that. But it depends, man. I might be in a whole different mood after seeing Tame Impala, and some drugs might be in the rotation. so I guess with that one, you'd kind of have to be there to find out. But I would say, yeah, I'd probably get a few hours of sleep for sure.
Okay, well. At a certain point, he starts to get serious. Start to get some rest, because it's the biggest set of your life. You're playing Coachella, for God's sake. But for the most part, I think we're starting to see this guy he's a party animal. He loves the nightlife. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate. But anyways, I think the reason I wanted to ask these questions is a lot of the times it depends on, the type of personality you have and how much control you tend to have over a scenario, right? So you stay home. You have a lot more control. You work on your takes. You finish your track. You go out, anything can happen. The night can go anywhere. You go home early after your set, you wind down, you're in control. Your set's over, so the mood could go anywhere. Who's the DJ on next? The mood, it might be a bad trip. Might be in for a bad trip. But what I'm trying to say is it comes down to control and how much control you have over the environment. And I think a lot of artists, they're complicated people and they don't always like to, have surrender control. But what I wanted to ask you was, in terms of your music and the type of mood that you can set, how do you feel you would choose to manipulate the mood in a room when your set's about to start? How do you want to move the energy?
For people that have actually seen me live, when we were playing live shows back in 2019, I know how to get a crowd excited, and it really comes down with, what you put out there, man, is what you get in return. If I stand up and I am just like stagnant and I'm rapping really nervously or doing whatever I want to, 1 second, check this out. And that's a mood setter, bro. I burp into the mic before every show. That's how I get people excited. But yeah, it's really about what you bring to the stage, man. I get on there and I am moving the whole time. Like if I'm not dripping sweat by the time I get off stage, I didn't do it right. Straight up, man. I should be covered in sweat. I should be ready to drink and have fun for the rest of the night and support other artists. That's usually what I do. And man, when it comes to crowd manipulation, it's really about engaging with them, obviously having quality music, and not being so nervous. Like so many artists, especially new ones, get on stage and they're like, my name is Derek Chomlin, and I'm a singer-songwriter from Texas, and this is my new song, Flower Man. And they get up there and they start strumming their guitar. You've already Lost everyone, man. You know what I do is I get up on stage and I go, yo, what's up? I'm Zeko Deshoda, and the beat plays. Because guess what? People aren't decided about you until they hear your music, and that's all they care about. So get to the music immediately. The time for talking is after, man. This is my advice for performing artists. Start with one of your strongest songs and finish with one of your strongest songs. Everything in between is kind of just like, you know, they can be good, they're probably dope, but it's mostly filler. People remember how you started your set and how you finished your set, and that's really what's most important. Those are the two tracks where, like, if you don't absolutely kill it, man, you've lost the crowd. So in terms of crowd manipulation, start strong, finish strong. Whatever happens in between, not as important.
Well, we're gonna round things out here shortly, but you can expect this new album to be coming out a couple days from now, and I'm gonna expect that the album starts strong, finishes strong, has a lot of actual meat in between. Wouldn't expect anything less from you, bro. But thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. I'm gonna honestly let Zeko send it off because he knows all you guys very well. And but thank you so much for listening and for listening to his tracks and engaging with your boy. So stay tuned for the next Hollywood North Files, and I'm gonna pass her off here.
I'm Zeko Deshoda. Palm Court is out on Tuesday. I love you guys. Have an excellent night.
Bye.